Michaela
And I'm Marissa.
and today we will be performing our junior group performance of Rhymes and Reason. Dr. Seuss Takes a Stand for Children's Literature.
Math worksheet, science fair. Oh, and my report on Dr. Seuss. I guess I have to finish it. Let's see what facts I have so far. Theodore Seuss Geisel, born on March 2nd, 1904. Grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts. Married twice to Helen Palmer and Audrey Diamond. Lived most of his life in La Jolla, California. Wrote 44 books for children. Died on September 24th, 1991. Ugh, this is so boring. Dr. Seuss is just a dead author.
Did I hear someone say, Dr. Seuss?
Who are you?
Why, I'm a figment of your imagination, inspired by Dr. Seuss's marvelous creations.
But Dr. Seuss is dead. Did he really give me the idea of you?
Did you even know how Dr. Seuss changed our society? How he took a stand against boring reading, giving kids variety? How he... I'll take that as a no.
Do you always have to speak in rhyme?
What exactly is Seuss? Do you know?
He graduated from Dartmouth University in 1925.
That's right. Seuss grew up in Springfield, which inspired all his books. His mother, Henrietta, and father, Theodore, gave him his good looks. With a strong German heritage, his mom and dad were fun. They encouraged his doodles and rhymes, things that, in that time, were just not done.
I guess Dr. Seuss must have been pretty smart if he wasn't taught rhyming and stuff in school.
Well, although we all know that Seuss was very bright, his doodling didn't put him in a positive light, to his teachers at least. Helen Palmer, his future wife, told him to drop out of Oxford, changing his life. At first, Seuss designed ads and wrote political cartoons about controversial topics such as World War II. Seuss even joined the Army's Motion Pictures Division in 1943 and created films that were viewed on the home front and over the sea.
So Dr. Seuss was already known for his films, ads, and political cartoons. What about his children's books? When did he start writing those?
Seuss wrote his first book in 1937, and that one single book made us unable to forget him.
But why would one book make someone unforgettable?
Well, before Seuss, books were filled with good behaviors, the main characters all being well-dressed saviors. Their point was to make readers follow good morals, manners and hygiene, and ways not to quarrel. If you think these primers are something you've missed, then travel back in time and listen to this. Look, Jane, see the kite. See the kite go up. Up, said Sally. Up, up, up. See, it's good that his parents encouraged doodles and rhymes, or he never would have taken a stand for new times.
My teacher told me that. She said that before Seuss, the only book that had any nonsense in it was Alice in Wonderland. And even that was only for older children. But people are used to boring stuff and didn't like Dr. Seuss's style at first.
Your teacher is right. Dr. Seuss's first book, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, was rejected by publishers 27 times before one finally agreed to bring it into the light. And even then, it received criticism along with delight. Some said that it encouraged wildness and daydreaming. It was so different from the primers with which the bookshelves were teeming. Even today, critics say that Seuss's books involve too much play.
Wow, Dr. Seuss really did take a stand. This is ridiculous. I'm talking to some silly character that only speaks in rhyme. You're not even real. Besides, Dr. Seuss's books are only for little children. They have nothing to do with me.
How did you learn to read?
I learned with rhymes and rhythm.
Exactly. And if I may say, most matter-of-factly, Dr. Seuss was the one who began those things, teaching children to spread their reading wings.
Wait, so before Seuss, children had to pick up a boring primer and try to learn to read from that? Did they really even teach early reading in schools?
Nope. For a while, the literacy rate was less than 75%, and nobody knew what fun reading meant. Now that rate is 96, thanks to Seuss and his rhyming tricks.
Okay. Another topic my teacher wanted me to research was his beginner's books. Didn't that have something to do with teaching children how to read?
Yes. I'm sure you've heard of The Cat in the Hat?
Of course.
Well, William Ellsworth Spaulding helped Seuss come up with that. In 1954, he gave Seuss a list of simple vocabulary, and Seuss wrote a classic that makes us all merry. It taught kids to read in an easy, fun way. And in 1958, Beginner's Books was founded, so there are many more easy readers today, like here, and there, and everywhere. Dr. Seuss's books are now in 20 tongues, with people all over writing books for the young. Seuss once said that his greatest satisfaction was taking Dick and Jane out of school libraries. Seuss was truly one of the great reading revolutionaries. Why? Look at the time. I really must leave. But first, here's some books that you really must read. And now, I'll leave you here, under the sun, with your good books, so you can have fun.
Well, Dr. Seuss is interesting, and he did do a lot, but Hop on Pop, I already know how to read.
Not so fast. Dr. Seuss's books are a part of your past, but they still affect you. He took a stand for current issues, too. Many of his stories are really very relevant allegories, ways Seuss got his opinions through.
Like what?
Take his book, The Lorax, published in 1971. It advocates for environmental protection. The surface level story is about truffle trees with needs, but takes a stand for the earth upon closer inspection.
I remember this. When the Lorax first came out, it was met with lots of criticism for the way it talked about pollution and how it was a blatant warning against an unsustainable economy. But now that pollution and deforestation are widely recognized, it's a very popular book. I speak for the trees. Hey, I recognize that. That's a slogan for environmental organizations like the National Park Service. The Lorax must be a very useful tool in teaching everyone, including children, to take care of the earth.
It is, but the Lorax is just the start of the great Dr. Seuss's literary art. The Sneetches is Seuss's stand against discrimination. It was published in '53, when racism was common throughout the nation. Although Seuss faced much adversity, he wrote the Sneetches, standing up for diversity. Oh, another example. Published in 1958, Yertle the Turtle. Yertle's like Hitler and won't stop at any hurdle. Eventually, the smallest turtle of all topples Yertle's complete dominion. Seuss just had to speak up when he had an opinion.
What about the Butter Battle book? That would be the race to create the ultimate weapon. Like
The Cold War.
Yeah, and Hunt is a who. Hunt is standing up for people who are people no matter how small, like minorities. What else?
Well, What Was I Scared Of tells you not to judge a book by its cover. And Oh, the Places You'll Go tells of overcoming all the hardships you'll discover.
That's so cool. Almost every single one of his books has a deeper meaning. No wonder I'm studying him.
Yep, his amazing career was finally recognized with some honorary doctorates and a Pulitzer Prize. Seuss has 3 Oscars and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and a Children's Literature Award now bears his name. Today, there are movies, a musical, and sculptures, and Dr. Seuss has truly become a part of our culture.
Dr. Seuss really is amazing. I think I'll give that rhyming thing a go. So, if I recount, Dr. Seuss was great. He took a stand for kids and their reading rates. He made it more fun, silly pictures and rhymes. And his books are about the turns of the times.
But Dr. Seuss was ever much more than that. He started new trends with his Cat in a Hat. Today, all authors write books that rule. Kids love to read them, and they learn to love school. His birthday, March 2nd, is a celebratory day. But for now, we'll settle for a hip hip hooray!
Hey, before I leave, one last thing. Here's a quote from the Children's Book King.
The more that you read, the more things you will know. And the more that you learn, the more places you'll go.